so good.
You look so bomb. That video, your hair, I was like, yes, I'm here for it.
Thank
Super
you.
cute. How are you today, beautiful?
I'm good. I'm good. Ooh, let me make sure I got this little, let's get this set up. So we're not doing that. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Technology.
You're good.
All right. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
I'm so excited to be talking to you today. I mean,
Really?
yes, I'm super excited to be talking to you today. Let's get into like a little background, if you will.
Okay.
So you're from, and you were born and raised in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yes.
Talk to me about what were your career aspirations as a child? What did you want to be when you were little?
I just always felt this like innate energy to be a performer, entertainer of some sort. I've always loved singing. I was a church baby. We have like 3 generations in this one small like red church called Christ back in Nebraska. Like one of like 3 Black churches over there. Oh, I'm sure now there's more, but at the time, like when I was growing up, there were few to pick from. But yeah, so I was my grandmother put me in the choir, so.
Wow.
Yeah, it was always just kind of this. I love show tunes. One of my mom's movies was Grease.
I love it. Classic.
Like, and the ways. So yeah, I loved it. Diana Ross and all that. Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Team Virgo.
Yeah, I know. September 3rd. I'm a Leo. So Virgos and Leos have this thing. I don't know. We have like this connection. So I was like, yes, I'm here for it. So you then went on to attend college, but like for a brief period of time. Is that right? Because you were like, there's something else out there for me. Talk to us about that.
It's Nebraska, so it's like, that's the thing. What I'm saying is like the spirit was moving through me because I really just knew like that's not where I was supposed to be. And to get to where I wanted to go, to where I need, it wasn't, and I can't sit still in class.
You're like, this is boring.
I'm daydreaming constantly. I'm just like, my brain is like out there dancing to some song that hasn't even been written yet. And I'm, it's not how I learn. So yeah.
And then you leave at 17 and your first role is Nala in The Lion King.
Yeah, so when I was going to that small liberal arts college, yeah, that's when I just I hopped on the train. It was like a 11 to 14-hour train ride from Lincoln to Chicago. And yeah, I booked the part from an open call. I mean, it was the first time I like went to New York and everything. They flew me out, and it wasn't until 6 months later that I got the role. So like I ended up going back to Nebraska trying to, figure it out. But yeah, so I eventually came, and that was the start, and it just kept going.
Because then you then went on to book make your Broadway debut on The Mormon, and then you did a whole bunch of things in between, and then you land on Glee, and then also What If most recently, which I loved you in What If. Angela Archer, loved your character. So good. So you come on Glee in its final season in a recurring role. Is that right?
Yes.
How did this role land? How did you land this role? What was the audition process like for Glee?
So I was in New York when I auditioned. Funny was that I wasn't really giving the audition a lot of interest because I had a callback for Wicked that same day. At that time, like Alphabet was like the dream. Like I was like ready to like take New York, into my own hands. But that day I had the first audition for Jane. The funny thing was that all week while I was going in for Wicked was that there's this like huge line of like younger black women like lined up. What is going on? They're like, oh, they're just doing a Glee call for so and so, and I'm like, okay, bet. And then eventually, like literally last minute, I got the audition like the night before, and I was like, okay. So it happened really fast. Like I had the job within a week. Like 3-4 days, everything was just, and I was signing my contract like on the, what is it, the air from JFK, the little air train thing.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Sign now, or it was like called CUDA sign back then.
Mm-hmm.
Finishing the contract, like as I'm getting on, a plane across the country. It was crazy, but it feels like with my journey, especially, that's I stumble uphill because I don't have a lot of education, nor have I really invested in too many lessons and or school time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it's usually gone. It just happens. They're just moments that are always bigger than what I have ever anticipated,
And then what is the set like? What is the environment like? Did you already know people that were on the show, or
I didn't know nothing about nothing. Anything.
You just are like, I'm happy to be getting a job. I booked the job.
Exactly, because it's just, it was still a dream. I hadn't like it was, I mean, yeah, it was a dream, but like, girl, when I got there, ain't nobody told me nothing. They were just like, okay, and so you're gonna stand here and they're like, and let's rehearse. And then I'm just like walking, they're like, no, you have to stay, on this, the tape that we put on the ground, that's your mark. You have to stay there so we can light you. You have to stand still so the camera can get you. I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like a lot of crash and burn until eventually, like, you fall into a rhythm. But it was just, yeah, again, climbing uphill. Like, I've learned a lot of lessons as I've gone on. Now it's not always the best, but I mean, you got to learn somehow.
Right.
I'm still here, so I'm doing.
Yes, you are. And so I'm going to get back into the show, but I want to kind of bring us forward to, the past 2 weeks or so, if you will. So we're all at home, right? And we're, watching two pandemics unfold, the pandemic of racism and then our public health pandemic, right? Okay. And so we witnessed our brother George lose his life right in front of our eyes on camera. And everybody starts their outpour of support for George. May he rest in peace. Yes. He was buried today. Yes. And everybody began to send out their tweets, for Black Lives Matter, and everybody's protesting. Mm-hmm. And the celebrities are tweeting. Everybody's tweeting. And then Lea tweets, your former castmate. Mm-hmm. And she made the tweet of, if I will read this, George Floyd did not deserve this. This was not an isolated incident, and it must end. Black Lives Matter. And then you went on to tweet, laugh my butt off. Remember when you made my first television gig a living hell? Because I'll never forget. I believe you told everyone that if you had the opportunity, you would defecate, SHIT, on my wig, amongst other traumatic...
Read it for the church.
Amongst other traumatic microaggressions that made me question my career in Hollywood. So these two tweets that came out in lieu of Black Lives Matter, in lieu of support for George, caused, many more of your other colleagues and castmates to, tweet out support for you. Talk to us, Sam, about what was the moment in which you said that, okay, she tweeted this is my time now to speak vocally for not only myself, but for others who are in the same place or will be in the same place as me and are afraid to speak up. What was that moment like for you?
Okay, so I guess we have to take it back a little bit. I've always been very vocal about the treatment of Black bodies in any sort of environment. Mm-hmm. Who has known me or has worked with me knows that I don't ever shy away from the truth. And I know that will always cause a rift. Right. Wherever I am, because not only am I a Black woman, I'm a dark-skinned Black woman, okay? Yes. So, you know what I'm saying? So I already have odds stacked against me. Right. But what I would like to say is that when we lost Ahmed, or not even when we lost Ahmed, when we found out about Ahmed, right? Because we had no clue until a video surfaced online, and then we were all scrolling, and we see, bouquets and gender reveals, and then a video, very traumatic video. of someone being lynched.
Right.
So this, because we're still in the middle of a pandemic, and I live alone. So I had written an article that's on Medium. You can read it now, but it's called "Survival on Two Fronts: Surviving Being Black in Hollywood and Surviving During COVID-19," where I touch base on how being Black in Hollywood is sometimes really not the tea. Like it's just,
Right.
you just get tired of surviving, of just doing things so you can stay in a certain place, you know what I mean? So like since when I was writing that, you know, a lot of these things were coming up because like it was my first job, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that and the situations, plural, because there was more than one, were traumatic because again, like it's these are my dreams. And so when someone's messing with your dream, like I'll never be able to think about that moment. It wasn't mine to have, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something that rubs me the wrong way about that, and I can't help but think that if I wasn't a dark-skinned Black woman and I just looked like Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
right,
like it would have been different. But
right.
So of course, like when I was writing this, it was fresh. So then we lose, you know, George within a week and a half.
Yes.
And so I guess just being online and seeing that and the fact that it was described as an isolated incident, like, oh really?
Right.
Like really? At this point, it's just like I don't really have anything to lose because what's mine won't miss me. Like I really do believe that the universe and God is working in my favor.
Right.
So you know, I I do what I'm good at. I just said what was on my heart, and that was me expressing myself. Yeah, there's anger there, there's sadness there was relief, there was joy, there was weight off. But you know what? This ain't the time for us to be quiet. I'm sorry. Enough is enough. Yeah,
right.
It was enough for me. I'm not about to go in any environment, jumping hurdles, natural spaces just to make y'all comfortable when I'm working twice as hard. And like I said, I'm a Virgo. Like I'm a perfectionist. Like I deliver. Okay. So just give me the space to do so without throwing all that extra shit on me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, I tweeted a little tweet.
Yes. You tweeted a tweet though, Sam, that I felt like opened the doors and the gates for other people to then be vocal, because like you said, being a Black person, a Black woman in particular in Hollywood is not the easiest job to have. It's very hard. You have to fight for yourself. You have to advocate for yourself. And I believe that your tweet, you advocated for yourself, but not only for yourself, I believe you sparked the conversation for people to then speak up about situations where they've been in, where they were treated unfairly. Sam, let's talk about the incident in question. Do you remember like the day and the time on set in which this happened, or the way you felt that day? And did you share this with anybody else prior to you tweeting it out?
I will say this. I'm not going to share too much about it because I do have I did an interview with Variety that was supposed to drop Monday, but it'll be dropping tomorrow morning. And I do want to be able to give them the platform to tell the story as I, you know, committed to letting them do so. I will say that with the verbal abuse and the energy on set, which I also have to bring up the fact that the third party environment is also just as guilty for letting that type of energy thrive. Who are just trying to, you know, do their job.
Yes.
My auntie lives in Santa Ana, so I would call her up and I would text her, and you know, I would let her know everything that went down. And yes, I would approach people at work about it, but at that point, 6-7 years into a show, and that's just how the formula works, and that's how everyone knows it to be. And there's other people who just want to keep things moving. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, like, you know, there's only so much I could do for myself. And since I have been alone for a minute, you know, I'm able to, you know, implement a little bit of self-care and know what I need to do in order to continue moving in those spaces. But yes, I definitely, like I said, like I'm not that quiet. Like if I'm uncomfortable, like somebody will hear it eventually. So Yeah.
So I know the variety piece comes out tomorrow, but in a sense, there wasn't, correct me if I'm wrong, there wasn't an environment or a place you felt comfortable on that set to go to with your feelings and what was going on?
No, not at all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Okay. It's crazy. And just to be
there, that's why it stayed in my chest. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I mean, you know.
And Lea, she did issue an apology. What did you think about her apology? Well, I saw the tweet. But what do you, I mean, if you can share with us, I know the piece comes out. How do you feel about that? Did you feel that it was genuine? Did you feel that, okay, she may get it now. She, you know, with everything going on, maybe she's pregnant, maybe she gets it, or how do you feel?
You practicing you changing your brain? Sorry. Look, I've been hanging out with Alex New a little bit too much. A little
my good friend, my good boo.
Here's what I have to say about that. I think, especially what's happening right now, the conversations are happening around the identity of whiteness itself, and damn. There are people who have benefited from whiteness their entire lives, and have been in environments that let them lead with whiteness. And I think in this situation, that's just what it was. And I feel like, as far as the apology goes, I still think that whiteness had a role in the apology not being valid enough for me to have any sort of, to warrant a response at this moment in time. Sorry, I'm processing. I want to make sure that I'm doing the right things. The goal also isn't to defame any more further than what the internet has, because girl, cancel culture is, woo, y'all are hot. Y'all are a lot, okay? Because I had a lot of DMs. I had some interesting messages as well. And it's just really interesting. I get it. You know, it is. This digital world is still in its infancy as well. So it's hard to navigate these spaces. But I think that there is still a lot of room for her to learn.
Right.
And I hate that. I really do hate that it had to be this way. But at the same time, like,
what are your thoughts on cancel culture? Do you think people can come back from that and redeem themselves?
Yeah, I cancel culture, I don't know. You can't really, I feel like people should just put that energy into taking care of what really matters. Call it culture, yes, that's exactly what I did. Right. Is this you culture that's happening on Twitter now? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you sure you feel that way?
Right.
Share that you said a minute ago. What were you asking? Cancel culture.
Yeah. Do you think that people can redeem themselves from that whole cancel culture
I think we just need to normalize being okay with receiving new information and then applying it and then just evolving. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like,
right.
I stumble uphill. Like, I am not innocent. I have done things where I'm like, damn, let me just check myself right now. Let me make sure that I don't either do it again. Let me go out of my way. Just the other day, like, I called like a friend, like, there's this one time where you had me bleeped up, and I was just thinking about it, and I really just wanted to like come back and like have closure over it, because I'm still, you know, and I'm still feeling a certain type of way. But it's just kind of like, you have to just, communication is key.
Yes.
And yeah, but I think that we need to start giving more people room to evolve. And, you know, it was my who said, once people show you who they are, just like believe them. And if it's that type of energy, then just leave it alone. Don't give it your attention anymore and move on. There are just so many other things that can take your attention. Like, Bridget Brantley. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
The black mom who was in the street in New York. She's a social studies teacher, and like she got stopped in an interview on her way to the protest, and they were like, well, how do you feel about everything? How do you feel about the looting? And she expressed herself full-heartedly with the facts, and then she got fired.
Right.
At the charter school. First of all, New York charter schools, y'all like, who y'all? Okay.
Right.
Anyway, but she has, so like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I've been trying to do all week, because I have the followers and the people who want to know more of the tea and all this stuff. I get it, but there's just, especially right now, there's just, let me just take the highway and move towards what really matters right now. So but yeah, cancel culture, no, but I mean, you can learn how to write a decent apology. Yes.
There's your friend again talking to Alex. I felt like that was a little bit of you in there, boo. Are you on here? Hey, Alex. And speaking of Alex, you received a ton of support from Alex, from Amber. I saw Amber put a few hearts. Heather Morris put a few, she wrote and came to your support. A lot of people, and then which opened the floodgates for them to start sharing their stories, which that's what I loved about it. So it may not have been the most beautiful thing to come out, but I felt like you using your voice and you being brave enough to say it allowed other people to be brave enough to speak up and come forward. And which brings me to, what piece of advice would you give to women or young girls that are coming up in this industry, or maybe even they work in corporate America and they want to speak up for themselves because they've been wronged? What would you tell them is a good way to speak up for yourself and advocate for yourself?
Well, first of all, I just have to say, like, what people's opinions about you don't matter unless your energy is directly affecting, like, everyone else, especially, I mean, if you have an attitude, you have an attitude, whether it's valid or not, it depends on the situation. But I think it just, like, for me personally, I think what was always distracting me was like, what will they think, and it's like, it's not about them. Like, who are you doing it for? Who are you here for? And what is your goal? Where are you trying to go? You know what I'm saying? And, I also think that for women especially, we have been, which is also a symptom of white supremacy, is this, we think that there's not room for all of us.
Right.
So sometimes we're ingrained with this, like, feeling that it's a competition, or we got to show up and be better than cis next to us, when, I mean, the world is wide enough, as Lin-Manuel wrote in Hamilton. The world is wide enough. So I think it's just worry about yourself, mind your business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How they feel about you is really none of your business.
Right. It's not. And if you need to speak up, right?
Yes, yeah. Right. Oh, right. I mean, I'm so evolving. I'm still learning. I think there's also a time and place when there are certain battles that are worth fighting, and then there are certain battles that are worth, like, waiting out from the bus on the way to where you need to go.
Right.
Definitely, recognize when to give your energy as well. That's also a lesson that I've had to learn, is like, not every little thing has to be a fight, a battle. And sometimes it's good to be like, all right, okay, cool, but yeah, definitely, I think now than ever, like, if you feel a certain type of way, and just, like, say it. I wish that me now, 5 years ago, I would have been able to show it for myself, and I still did, in a way, in a sense, because I did all them episodes, and they but yeah, I wish I would have been able to stand up for myself a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
Well, you're standing up for yourself so beautifully now, and so many other people. Sam, do you feel represented in Hollywood? Do you feel like now that everything is going on, do you feel like there's a tide that is changing, or that will change, due to so many companies, so many brands speaking out for Black Lives Matter? Do you feel like the representation, if it's not there already, which do you feel like that it will shift?
I mean, I'm not a psychic. I don't have a crystal ball, but I would hope that this collective consciousness, that it feels like we're moving, like, moving forward, will apply itself. And that is in the hands of like white executives who will continue to, make space at the table and open more windows and doors for Black writers and creatives. But yeah, seeing myself, not necessarily, maybe little bits and pieces here and there. I might mess up her name and forgive me. Michaela Coel? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
The British.
Yeah.
I really love what she's doing with her work as well. I just watched the pilot for her HBO series.
Yes, I love that.
It may kill you. This might kill you. I may kill you. Ooh.
I saw it. I think that's, yeah. We don't want to.
But it's like that energy where it's just like starting to stray away from like I don't want to even say typical Black. That's wrong. That's wrong thing. But I wrote about this also in the Medium article where it's like, I'm a Black girl from the Midwest, like how many times someone can tell me that I sound white, or right. I'm not this, I'm not that, I don't got soul, I don't have, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely been a hard straddle over here because they only have a few boxes for us anyway. So I would really love to start seeing more of us, more versions of us, because we're
lit.
We're black.
We're lit.
So,
hey.
Yeah. If anything, I mean, I'm getting there. I'm writing. I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? I won't leave without trying. So, yeah.
What's the lesson in this? What's the message and the lesson that you've learned and that you want people to take away from this?
From just everything going down right now?
Yeah. Just with you speaking out, sparking this conversation.
Well, first of all, Amber Riley, God bless her, she has established the Mutiny Movement, which is UNMUTENY. It's a hashtag where those specifically Black men and women in the industry, in theater, TV, film, journalism, like hosting and all that stuff, like who want to use this hashtag to be able to just kind of unmute yourself and
unmute
about your experiences. I mean, we don't want it to be necessarily like a call out, like, remember what, because mine was a little intense, but just like talking about it, like how long we have been silent, and this is our reality as Black men and women in the workspace, especially in the entertainment industry. So from all of this, I don't know. I mean, be true, again, just true to your heart. And if you really feel like you need to say something in the moment, say something. You will feel so much better. And what's yours will not miss you, you know what I'm saying? So if they leave you hanging high and dry, then there's another can of paint somewhere else, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't scared.
we ain't never scared. We ain't never scared.
Initially, I was like, well, after the first hour, I was like, oh man, what did I do? But then I was like, you know what? How am I going to get in trouble for telling the truth?
Hello, in 2020.
Yeah.
Sam, were you at all surprised at the support that came out?
Yeah.
You received support from everywhere. Were you like overwhelmed? Like, wait a minute, really?
Yeah. I mean, when I tweeted that, I was standing on my own firm ground. Like, I was like, no, please, no, not today.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, with my colleagues coming to my side and like, it just gave me a lot of hope, and it was dope. It was a surprise, but in all the loveliest of ways. I appreciate you. Oh, thank you.
And your variety piece comes out tomorrow. We should have waited until tomorrow.
It's all right. Okay.
It's okay. But I'm so happy though that you were able to share with us. What do you have coming up next? What are you up to? Any music?
I have some tunes out under my.
You've been working on anything in quarantine, girl?
A few things. Y'all will know soon.
Okay. So I love you so much, Sam. I love your spirit. I thank you for being brave to tell this story, to speak up. I really feel like you opened the door for so many people that look like you and I, but that don't look like you and I, to speak up for what's wrong. I feel like we're in a place now where we can really change the course if we do the work. And I feel like you are part of, you know, that voice in us doing the work. So thank you so much for talking to us today.
For allowing us to get on the platform and do this. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you so much. And we'll be following and seeing what you're dropping next. We can't wait. Then you have to come back and talk to us about it.
Of course. Yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
Let me know. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And this will be up later for everybody to see.
Okay,
So,
really? Right.
Yes, it will.
I'll get a little bit.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye.
Where is the buzz? You said was mine.
Where is the buzz?